Welcome back, guys, to another show, Bitcoin Radio. Another day, another dollar. We're here again with Augie and Alex. Let's see where this goes. Let's see what we're going to talk about. I know one thing I want to talk about is AMC. I want to talk about AMC with Augie. Let's talk about it. What do you think about the AMC stock? Do you have you read about it? Have you seen it on the news?
I've read about it. It's not trustworthy because AMC is the ownership of many of the movie theaters, and they thought that people are going to flood the movie theaters because they're so glad to go to movies at night instead of have to staying home. But I would say the video market's probably not doing any kind of thing. People got so used to watching movies on their television sets, they just got bigger television sets. What I always thought that AMC should consider doing, if they listen to ideas, consider opening up drive-in movie theaters that would be safer for people, revive an old custom. A lot of people years ago got married because they sat in movie theaters in their cars watching drive-in movies. And, a lot of things happen in a car when the movie got hot that couldn't happen in a movie theater. So maybe the idea of AMC is to provide drive-in movies or drive-up movies where you pull up and you've got a big wall to look at it, and you can sit in your car, get out of your car, and go to a popcorn stand or what have you. Because that's the old drive-in theaters. What do you think of that? I mean, AMC needs to get creative to get people out there. And so people are imagining and buying up their stock on the presumption that their stock's going to pop. It's got a ways to start to do that.
Well, 80% of their stock is retail investors. The CEO promised, he's like, look, I promise you dividends. It pays dividends. He's like, I promise you that I will work for the stock price. He's like, I own the stock. My life depends on it, just as you guys. My savings depends on it, just like your savings depends on it. I've never seen a CEO ever say that. There's other stocks that had the same kind of pop, but never did that. I'm good. That never did that, but the CEO never did that. Never said anything. We have the new one is Qualcomm, not BlackBerry. So you have BlackBerry stock blowing up from these Reddit guys. It's just incredible. It's really incredible. You have one group of people changing stock.
The AMC stock is a stock that you think is going to pop some more, or is it going to pop and level off?
Oh no, it's going to go to $100. You have a CEO working for. Once you have a CEO working for a stock price, that's it. In my opinion, that's all you need. You can bet the bank on it. The only problem is 80% of the stock is retail owned. It's not hedge fund owned. It's owned by people that have uncontrollable emotions. So once they make their money, they're out. They're going to tank the price. So you're just going to be volatile the whole time. But it's going to keep going up. It may crash one day to zero. But that will be when AMC.
That's kind of a worrisome note when you just said that. That's if you're going to trust something, it's going to have some durability or it's not. Now, in terms of what has durability and a likelihood of regular strong gains, but not extreme gains, would be what stock? Apple or someone like that?
What do you want? Durability? You want a moat? Do you want to bet the bank where you could good at night? I wouldn't say I wouldn't. I mean, everybody says Apple, but Apple's been on the tear. I mean, Apple's already had their time. I mean, everybody's late. You buy it now, you're late. I would buy different companies that are starting off good. I wouldn't buy companies that are, 50 years old, 60 years old, 100 years old. I would not do that if I'm an investor to invest. If I invest,
you don't want to be like Warren Buffett.
Huh?
You don't want to be like Warren Buffett.
No, I want to be like Warren Buffett. I don't want it. Warren Buffett didn't buy Coca-Cola at now. He bought it in the beginning. He didn't buy Apple now. He bought Apple in the beginning.
Yes, he has bought up Apple recently, actually.
Well, yeah, he's added to his positions, yeah, but it's
what he won't buy is Bitcoin.
And he missed out on a lot of money. He missed out on the biggest return in history. I mean, that's funny.
But your favorite investor is Gates Foundation with Melinda Gates and Bill Gates. and the relationship with Bill Gates, and how does this foundation hold up with the kind of investing? You know what I've read about them with what they've done, why they're so profitable. They've been giving grants to pharma, big pharma, the Gates Foundation, mind you, for research, right? And for that, they've been having stock from these different pharmaceutical companies given to the foundation as losses and write-offs, tax manipulation. So the foundation's growing with money, billions and billions, even maybe a trillion, and making the money off of these things, and the drug prices keep getting higher. So are we really looking at a foundation that's truly generous to the small guy, or are they simply greedy? And but I wonder about that, Alex. What do you think?
Well, the new Alzheimer's drug, it helps cure Alzheimer's, $5,000 a year.
I'm sorry, you broke up on me. What did you say?
The prescription for the new Alzheimer's drug, $5,000 a year.
Yeah, well, it's boosting, but I read they were very reluctant to give permission for it to go forward, and they made a statement that it has negative side effects and it's not a proven drug yet. But in the first stages, it's going to be taken off. How much it gets sold, and if Big Pharma can really sell it, that's the question. If people start having problems with it, that's not small. Yeah, Alzheimer's is if you have a method to get Alzheimer's under control, and there's some people who believe there's simpler ways to do it, but all in all, it's a real moneymaker. And if they're going to rely on a drug to do it, that's a tough one. Reverse plaque in your arteries and your synapses and all the places where your vessels all connect and so forth, and have a single drug do that, that is awfully difficult. And trying to do that to people who are somewhere between 70 and 90, I don't know. That's an interesting problem. I just take a glass of wine, hot water in the morning, and that helps me a lot. So it's problematic, Alex. I hope for people's sake that they can. There's a better old product, over-the-counter product called Prevagen, and I even bought it one time. I didn't test it long enough to like I needed it or not, but some people say you remember too much, and will you please shut up? So I don't know, Alex. But as far as making money off the Alzheimer's drug, I would say there's going to be a crash on it. It's going to go way up quickly and keep going up, and then big drop. And then do you buy at that drop, or do you watch it a little bit longer and then buy it all? It's like if Biden were to end the war on drugs, what would you buy? You'd probably buy what? What would you buy if the war on drugs ended? What would be your favorite stock?
It had to be a pharmaceutical with the opiates.
That's right.
Because they're going to be making a killing.
Yeah, but if the hospitals become places of therapy for people instead of ways to jail people coming out of jail, then what happens then?
Hospital well, then the world would be a better place. But that's to answer your question. But we all know hospitals will not become a therapy place. It will be a place where people are recovering from overdoses. You see how the beds are packed because of the COVID? They'll be packed because of overdoses. Unfortunately.
On that point, what would happen to the drug? What would happen to immigration if you had an end of the drug war?
I don't think it would affect immigration too much, but it would help these immigrants who are forced to send drugs over, and it would all the trafficking, it would hurt the traffickers bad.
So here you have obvious benefit that politicians with a little bit of spine should say enough already, right? Get this damn thing over with. Let's make some money from doing real things instead of jailing people and wasting their lives.
Want to know why? Because the drug problem is not a criminal justice problem. It's a problem for the doctors.
That's right.
You all know that. You know, a cop will never, ever make a junkie clean again. No, a doctor will. And I put the bank on it. And, you know, you put him in jail all you want. You're making him more of a monster. And you're putting all the monsters together. So now they know how to be a better monster because they're all together working. You know, it's just a joke. You're supposed to separate them, make them all clean again, separate them. Don't put them all together in one spot where they huddle up and say, look, I learned this. Look, I know this. Look, this guy has the best stuff. You know, it's a puddle full of mud. And who makes all the money on that? Bill Gates and everybody else. And it's a joke. But
so now you had a little experience.
Was it Johnson & Johnson who made all the money off opiates? Who was it? I forgot.
Oh, the opiates. Well, I'm trying to think. That's one we have to research for sure. That's
doing right now.
Who does that? Who's the big producer? We know Rush Limbaugh was hooked on opiates, pretty big, and he got out from it without going to jail for it for some reason.
Six companies.
Who? Six companies? Who are they?
Distribute 75% of opiates. McKesson, Walgreens, Cardinal Health. Think about this. AmerisourceBergen, CVS, Walmart.
There you go. There you go.
These are just the distributors.
Yeah.
These are not the manufacturers.
Right. Right.
Think about this,
man. Let me give you let's say you start letting those people out of jail. What is happening in the jails that you experienced was that people, in order to save themselves from the brutality of the guards in the particular situation you were in, I'm sure in many other places. And
Purdue Pharma. Purdue Pharma was the one who manufactured.
There you go. There you go. But in the jails themselves, who's benefiting? The Sunni Muslims. That's who protected you against the guards. Am I right? And protected others.
Gangs, the gangs and the Muslims benefit the drug dealers.
So you have an interesting school of drugsters and gangsters in the jail system, and incompetent police in control of that, at least on the surface, and punishing sometimes very innocent people in the process, all because we keep.
Oh, can I say this? These numbers are more disturbing than I thought. We're not talking about millions of pills these companies have sold. We're talking about billions of prescriptions. Yeah. So that's trillions of pills.
Right.
Billions of prescriptions, trillions of pills. Kroger, Rite Aid, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, these are household names. These are these are bigger drug dealers than the guy outside across the tracks in your black neighborhood or your minority neighborhood where everyone wants to talk about.
Well, just think something. You can advertise these people to invest in or not. That's you, Alex. You can say, these are the ones who are not helping matters. These are the ones harming matters.
I'll never buy any of these names. I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Right.
I won't buy any of these names. You're right. You brought up a good point. And that's not just for me. That's for investors out there watching the show. Don't buy any of these names for nothing.
I can't. The print's a little small for my eyesight, but nonetheless, Alex, I think that's another pathway for your show to who not to vote and not to vote for, so to speak, by investing. Vote for the ones who are for you and not for just themselves, and for the status quo and keeping the system exactly where it is. The system has to change to really get better. And I think a message should go out to the Gates Foundation. I lost on the screen here, maybe.
No, you're there. You're there. You're clear.
But I think we've got to let the Gates, since Epstein and Gates have been sort of friends along the way, and it became known to his family that he was all the way back in 2011, that they make money from Big Pharma. The Gates Foundation makes their big money from Big Pharma. That is a question that needs to be really investigated and made quite clear to people where to invest and where not. Why would you support the companies that just are for profit and not for people? And I think you are in a great spot to help educate people that way, Alex. You really are.
You know, my dad told me my dad got in a really bad car accident when I was about 18 years old, 17 years old, around them ages. And he told me, he's like, the doctor prescribed me Oxycontin. And he said, strongest opiate in the world. He said, if I take this, Alex, I will be a junkie. And the doctor promised me I'll be a junkie. My prescription's over. But the doctor said he has other pills to help me with the withdrawals. And I asked myself, am I stupid or smart? And he said, when someone tells you there's withdrawals and all this, he's like, you just don't do it. He said, Alex, if you ever get in a car accident, if you ever get prescribed this, don't do it. So I've never touched it before. Thank God. But everybody in high school that I went with is a junkie. The prettiest girls ever, junkies. The people getting in car accidents, junkies. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have parents that taught me don't do drugs.
Well,
Drugs. But Walmart.
I was in the hospital 10 weeks in 2013, from October of that year till December of that year. And I got moved from one hospital to another. I moved from up to Gainesville, down to Sarasota, and then over to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, 3 different hospitals. At Sarasota Memorial, I let this nurse talk me into taking a Percocet. I'm allergic to codeine. Percocet is a codeine in spades. It's like Oxycontin. And so I'm so allergic, I started throwing up. And I threw up for 3 solid days. I was losing weight like crazy, starving myself because I couldn't keep anything down. And after 4 days, I thought I was done. I finally got settled and I was no longer reacting to everything. I went to eat breakfast, people, feeling pretty normal. I was going to have a nice egg and what have you for my breakfast. I sit down. I took 3 bites of my food, a tray, and sitting talking to people, socializing, and suddenly it hit me. I threw up and filled up my tray again. After 3 days, it was the 4th day of puking my ass off. So these drugs are harmful. And if you're fortunate enough to be allergic, you don't tend to get hooked on those things you're allergic to. But there's a lot of people who can't escape the trap that those things make for them. So you really got. I think how you invest really does matter, and you can provide, and so that's your real service to the community, Alex. In my opinion.
Also, I want to talk about we do have a new online store set up. We have no products. I will be honest with you. We have no products to sell, but we do have an online store. I do have the online store also offers investment services. It's going to be very limited right now because there's no license backing it, but there is results backing it, but no license. So we do have
service. Start selling, Alex.
We're going to do toilet paper. Huh?
Pardon me?
You said, what are we going to start selling?
What products do you think you might be selling soon?
We will be doing the toilet paper brand by you. Your opinion. Yeah, you're gonna brand that because it's a great. I would buy some.
Somebody gave me a roll of toilet paper with George Bush's face on each set of sheets. But there's always somebody that you can make fun of with the toilet paper ones. And then
Yeah,
there's T-shirts and things like that as well.
the
So I don't know.
t-shirt thing I think would be cool. We'll do like Augie in the Edge t-shirts, Bitcoin Radio t-shirts, and maybe some little funny joke t-shirts. Maybe some of your artwork on a t-shirt. Some of your artwork will be on the show. I mean, on this.
I've done another couple of cartoons I've been working on. I did one I think you know about. You've seen the one about I Can't Breathe. I did one called We Can't Breathe, and it's about the bodies underneath the fists and underneath the pressure of police who are cruel to people, to humanity. And we as a society cannot breathe with that kind of cruelty in our police forces. They don't deserve respect when they do this sort of thing. They just don't deserve it. And honoring them or holding them in regard is I think, a huge mistake. So when you start creating some of these things, Alex, I think that people might want to talk about ideas and what does your audience think of what things they would like to see, that they would like to have you provide for them? What things would they find missing out there that they don't have and you might provide that nobody else has? So,
And I think We Can't Breathe. I think that could be a poster. I mean, I'd put that poster in my room. I mean, We Can't Breathe. I've never heard that before. Hopefully nobody steals it.
well, the drawing I did is pretty evocative, pretty strong drawing. They may copy it, but it won't have the power that my drawing has. But nonetheless, we have to make it kind of positioned so it's stealing would be rather obvious.
Well, we're on YouTube right now. We're allowed to license stuff on YouTube in a kind of way. So your idea of We Can't Breathe is licensed in a
right.
But if they print it, they can print it. But they can't say we're the original person. Like you are the original. That's incredible. We Can't Breathe. I've never heard that before. I heard All Lives Matter. I've never heard We Can't Breathe. That's good.
None of us can. If the least of us cannot breathe, if a person says I can't breathe, then whatsoever you do to the least of these, you do unto me. So we can't breathe as a result, right?
Yep. I just want to end the show here on that note about the store and all the good stuff. We Can't Breathe shirts, hats should be coming out. I hope so. We can pull that off. And I want to thank everybody for watching Bitcoin Radio. I just want to let everybody know my stock pick of the week, month, year, whatever you want to talk about is Astra. It's under HOL right now. It was the last couple of shows. I think I shouted it out, but I just want to shout out again. HOL. It's a stock. It's going to be the stock of the century. They're going to beat Elon Musk.
I think you are going to put out a letter to the general public about your general ideas on stocks and so forth, and then people should subscribe to your letter. In order to get the letter, they should have to pay something per month, $1 a month or $10 a month or whatever.
I could do a newsletter. I mean, the newsletter should be free. I can do it free. If you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, maybe you got to pay $5 for it. I can do that. The
newsletter. I think a letter with a few strong suggestions and some careful ones too. I think you'll definitely have a following who want to invest that way and want to have the conversation that you provide. I want to thank you for letting me come on your show. I appreciate that, Alex.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you on Bitcoin Radio. See you guys soon. Hopefully, all a little richer. And another day, another dollar in the market.
Adios.
Adios.